Peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings. We are all human beings like each other. We have the same organs, and the same general characteristics, and the same physical structure, and others. And the most important of all is that we all have the same brain, and the same brain structure. But despite this, not all of us have the same degree of intelligence. There are people who are very smart and creative, and have amazing skills, and other people, my dear. Don't be sad. I wonder what the reason is. Welcome, I am Yahia Elsayed. But before we start, if you are still new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so that you receive our videos first. We publish long videos in which we tell real stories and mysterious and exciting. Subscribe to it and you will like it, God willing. People in the past used to link the degree of intelligence to the weight of the brain, meaning when they saw someone smart, they would say, he must have a big brain, and his brain is 5 or 6 kilos. But if they saw someone stupid, they would say, the reason must be his brain small. Even in the country, we can describe someone by saying that someone has a small brain. And the reason that made people see that the size of the brain affects intelligence is that the brain, from their point of view, was like a computer. The more transistors the computer had, this meant that it would be able to perform mathematical operations faster. The same thing with the human brain. The bigger its size, the more nerve cells it had, meaning better memory, faster mathematical operations, and higher perception. A simple concept that people have had for a long time, and when the medical field developed, it actually came out that humans do not have the same size or weight of brains. Some people actually have big brains, and others have small brains. God, they were right or what? The answer is no. The weight of the brain can actually differ from one person to another, but medical research did not say that this has a big impact on the rate of intelligence. For example, for all adult males, the average weight of the brain is 1,370 grams, while for all adult females, the average weight of the brain is about 1,200 grams, meaning that women's brains smaller by 170 grams. But does this mean that girls have a lower IQ because their brains are smaller? Of course not. Whoever says this is a liar. God forbid. The biggest example of intelligence having nothing to do with size is Albert Einstein's brain. For example, Dr. Thomas Harvey was obsessed with Einstein's brain. He believed that the weight and composition of his brain was the secret to his genius. That's why after Einstein's death, Harvey, while examining the body, stole his brain and continued to conduct research and experiments on it. The surprise was that Einstein's brain weighed about 1,230 grams, which is less than the normal average for any adult male. No one disputes Einstein's intelligence or creativity. And you also have someone like the French writer and novelist Antoine France, one of the most important French novelists ever. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1921. Despite this, when doctors studied his brain after he died, they found that it weighed about 1 kilo and 17 grams. So what is this? His brain was a nun, so the man was smart and creative. But does this mean that the opposite is true, meaning that those with small brains are the smartest? The answer is no. The Russian writer Ivan Turgenev is one of the most important novelists of the 19th century, not only in Russia, but also in the whole world. When doctors weighed his brain after he died, they found it weighed 2 kilograms, a very, very large number compared to the normal rate. The man was, of course, smart and creative. We can conclude from all this that the weight of the brain has nothing to do with intelligence and stupidity. In 2018, Gideon Navi, who holds a doctorate in nervous systems, and in Quilling, a professor of neuroscience and genetics, conducted a study on more than 13,000 people with the aim of revealing the relationship between brain weight and intelligence. The people on whom the study was conducted were very diverse, whether in gender, age, height, or even in social and economic status. You can say that the 13,000 were a comprehensive sample, and the result of the study was that the size of the brain has an effect on intelligence, but to a very small degree. People who had a larger brain size performed better in cognitive tests, but only by 2%. In addition, in other tests that were done, such as academic achievement tests, brain weight had no effect. That means that none of you have an excuse not to go and tell your father that your brain is small. In addition, there are people whose brain weight is the same in grams, and they differ in intelligence. Therefore, there are certainly other factors that are the reason for the difference in intelligence among people. One opinion says that the issue of intelligence is due to the extent of the connection between brain regions. That is, the more the parts of the brain and nerve cells are connected to each other in a better way, the smarter the person is. There are other opinions that say that the issue is due to genetic factors. That is, intelligence is something that is inherited through the genes that parents pass on to their children. There are third opinions that say that the issue is due to environmental factors. That is, the environment in which the child grows up is what determines his intelligence rate. Researchers, this is proven by experiments conducted on twin sisters, in which they noticed that identical twins who lived in different environments had different IQs. In the end, we need to know what intelligence means. Up until now, we have not agreed on a fixed definition of intelligence. And the intelligence tests that are conducted only measure two types of intelligence: logical intelligence and linguistic intelligence. While what is basically agreed upon among researchers is that there are more than 8 types of intelligence, and for this reason, we cannot assert that there are smart people and stupid people in general, because it is possible that there are no stupid people at all. Because then I will tell you, smart or stupid, in what exactly are the existing intelligence tests? Because the French government was trying to regulate the educational process in schools, and they wanted to know the number of children who were low in intelligence for their age in order to put special programs on them. At that time, the French government assigned the psychologist Alfred Benya with this task, and they told him, "Aren't you a psychologist? Turn around and show us the children whose intelligence quotients are, and what are the children?" The idea that Alfred came up with was that he looked at children in every age and saw what they could do and what they could comprehend. He took what he saw as a basic rule to compare it to. That is, we will calculate that a child who is 10 years old, we want his intelligence quotient. We will go and see what 10-year-old children can do or what he normally does. After that, we will bring the child we want to test and see if he comprehends the same as them, or more or less. The justice that they found in most children, we will call the fixed molecular age, and the child's disease that we will inject. We will call it the age of the minds, and the criteria to get the percentage of intelligence, which is the IQ, which people are disgusted with, and this is also the same idea as the Stanford Bionic Scale test, which was developed completely in a few years by the American psychologist Lewis Terman. Lewis Terman is one of the owners of the strangest experiments in psychology. Because with intelligence, Terman brought a large group of American children and applied the IQ test to them. Among this group, Terman found about 1,500 children whose intelligence exceeded 135 degrees, which means that outside the scale, these children are all geniuses. Here, Terman's role is to take these children and monitor and see where they will reach when they grow up. The surprising thing is that these Alaskans who were outside the test after they grew up did not differ much from other children. None of them were geniuses or Einsteins. A very limited number of the 1,500 were the ones who were distinguished. And the biggest surprise is that the children who turned out to be stupid were geniuses. Their IQ, creative people emerged from them, such as Richard Feynman, the physicist who won the Nobel Prize, Luis Alvarez, the physicist who also won the Nobel Prize, and Shockley, the inventor of the transistor, who of course won the Nobel Prize. By the way, Shockley passed the double IQ test, and people like these, I would have reached a big one to define intelligence for the whole world. When these people are not smart for the test, who is smart? That's why intelligence cannot be confined to a test. Most of these intelligences measure a total percentage to draw their goal. Monitoring does not measure a person's general intelligence. Intelligence is not mathematics. solving questions. And that's it. There is logical intelligence, linguistic intelligence, visual intelligence, emotional intelligence, and others. If someone is stupid in our concept of one of these things, he is definitely smart in another thing. Therefore, there is no absolute intelligence or absolute stupidity. That's why we cannot say that there are smart people and stupid people. If you get a low score on an IQ test or IQ, don't worry. Improving intelligence is not impossible, but it can be achieved through daily practices and good habits. Here are the most important ways to improve intelligence. Continuous learning. Reading. Reading books and articles in various fields enhances knowledge and develops critical thinking. Challenge the mind. Learn new skills such as playing a musical instrument or learning a new language. Mind games. Games that rely on thinking, such as chess, crosswords, and Sudoku, strengthen memory and concentration. Proper nutrition. Eating foods rich in omega-3, such as fish and nuts, fruits, and vegetables, maintains brain health. Drinking sufficient amounts of water to support brain functions. Good sleep. Deep sleep, 7 to 9 hours a day, enhances concentration and strengthens memory. Avoid staying up late to keep your brain active. Exercise. Regular exercise improves blood flow to the brain, which helps improve its functions. Avoid stress and psychological pressure. Practice meditation or yoga to reduce stress. Setting aside time to relax can improve creative thinking. Connect with others. Fruitful discussions and exchange of ideas with different people enhance creative thinking and improve understanding. Daily mental challenges. Solve daily problems in an innovative way. Think of different scenarios to develop critical thinking skills. Stay away from harmful habits. Reduce your consumption of sugars and fast food. Avoid distraction by using electronic devices excessively. Planning and setting goals. Daily planning and time management stimulates the mind to work efficiently and reduces chaos. Conclusion. Intelligence is not a fixed thing. You can improve it by adhering to these habits and continuing to develop yourself daily. That's it. Who left us? Like before, you go out to see everything new that has arrived to the end. And don't forget that if you have a question that comes to you at night and confuses you, write it to us in the comments under the video so that we can answer it. Bye.